she never got to grow up. Not really. What happened to Amanda Todd didn't begin with violence or with strangers breaking down a door. It began with a screen, a webcam, and a man who understood exactly how to make a lonely young girl feel seen. That was his weapon, and he used it with precision. This is the story of a child who was hunted across the internet for 3 years, who changed schools 4 times, trying to escape something that lived in every device she owned, who made a video with handwritten cards and shaking hands because she had run out of any other way to ask for help, and who, 1 month after posting it, was gone. Her name was Amanda Todd. She was 15 years old, and they never stopped sharing her. Amanda grew up in British Columbia, Canada. She was artistic. She drew, she sang, she made YouTube videos in the way that teenagers do when they are trying to figure out who they are and whether the world has a place for them. Diagnosed with anxiety and depression from a young age, Amanda struggled with the particular loneliness of feeling different, of feeling like she didn't quite fit, of wanting, more than most things, to belong somewhere. Webcam chat rooms had become the new playground for young teenagers, spaces where identity was fluid, where you could be whoever you wanted, where strangers from anywhere in the world could tell you that you were interesting, that you were pretty, that you mattered. For a girl who felt invisible in her own classroom, that was intoxicating. Social approval had migrated online. Likes, reactions, comments, the currency of belonging had a new exchange rate, and Amanda was learning it like everyone else her age. Then someone told her she was beautiful. He was a man. His identity at that point was unknown. He was patient, methodical. He knew exactly what he was doing because he had almost certainly done it before. He made her feel special, powerful even, flattered and seen in a way that 12-year-olds rarely are, because most adults don't pay that kind of attention to children unless they want something from them. In a moment of naive trust, the kind of trust that belongs to childhood, before the world teaches you what certain kinds of attention really mean, she made a decision she could never take back. That single moment became a weapon, and he kept it. For 1 year, nothing happened. 1 year in which Amanda went to school, made videos, drew in her sketchbooks, and perhaps, began to believe that it was over. That whoever he was, he had moved on. That she was safe. She wasn't. He came back. I have your picture. I know your school. If you don't give me more, I'll send it to everyone. He wasn't negotiating. He wasn't bluffing. He was a predator executing a plan. When Amanda refused, he delivered on his threat with systematic, calculated precision. He sent the image to her Facebook friends, to her classmates, to her teachers. He emailed it to parents at her school. He found her address and shared it. In a single, coordinated act of digital terrorism, he took a child and turned her into a spectacle. The response from her peers was devastating. She was called names that no child should ever hear directed at them. Classmates printed the image and brought it to school. Online, anonymous accounts sent her messages that told her the world would be better without her. She changed schools. The image followed her. She changed schools again. it followed her again. Because the internet doesn't recognise fresh starts, it only has archives. And the man who had taken that image from her made sure it circulated to every new school, every new class, every new attempt at a normal life before she had a chance to build one. At one point, Amanda moved cities with her mother, Carol, hoping that physical distance might do what digital blocking could not. He found her there too. This is what predators who operate online understand that their victims often don't. Geography is irrelevant. Platforms change, but the image doesn't. The internet is not a place you can leave. For Amanda Todd, there was no leaving. There was only surviving. And then, one day, there wasn't even that. In September 2012, Amanda posted a video to YouTube. She never spoke in it. Instead, she held up handwritten cards to the camera, one after another, in a silent 9-minute account of everything that had happened to her. Her hands shook. The cards were crumpled at the edges. The video was black and white. It was one of the most watched videos on the internet within days of being posted. She wrote, "I have nobody. I need someone. I can never get that photo back. I'm struggling to stay strong." She told the entire story: the chat room, the man, the image, the schools, the bullying, the messages of relentless cruelty that followed her everywhere she went. She told it with the quiet, exhausted precision of someone who had been carrying it alone for 3 years and had finally decided that the weight of silence was heavier than the weight of shame. 1 month after posting that video, Amanda was gone. She was 15 years old. Her mother Carol was the one who lost her. A mother who had watched her daughter fight for years, who had moved cities with her, changed schools with her, sat with her through the worst of it, who had tried, with every resource available to a parent, to protect her child from something that had no physical form, and no address, and no way to be stopped at a door. The news made global headlines, and then something happened that confirmed everything Amanda had been trying to tell the world about what the internet had become. The image, the very image that had followed her for years, began circulating again. Attached to news stories, shared by strangers on tribute pages set up in her memory, used to mock her, used to suggest she had staged her own disappearance for attention. Even after she was gone, they didn't stop sharing her. That is the final, unbearable cruelty of Amanda Todd's story. Not just what one predator did to a child with a webcam and a plan, but what hundreds of ordinary people chose to do with what he gave them. The classmates who printed the image, the anonymous accounts that sent her messages of the darkest possible cruelty, the strangers who shared it long after she was no longer here to see it. The predator lit the match, but a community kept the fire burning. In 2014, a Dutch national named Aydin Coban was identified as the man behind a systematic campaign of digital blackmail and exploitation, targeting Amanda and dozens of other victims across multiple countries. In 2022, after years of legal battles, he was convicted in Canada and sentenced to 13 years in prison. Justice came, but it came too late for Amanda, and for the hundreds of children currently being targeted by predators using identical tactics on platforms that didn't exist when she was alive. If Amanda's story has moved you, If you are a parent wondering what your child's online life really looks like, a teacher who suspects something is happening that nobody is reporting, or someone who recognises something of their own experience in what you've just heard, Sabrina Carroll's book, Voices Silenced by Screens, goes further. Real stories, real families, real consequences. Written with the compassion and urgency this subject demands. The link is in the description. And if you or someone you know is struggling right now, the resources below are there. Please use them. Amanda Todd's YouTube video has been watched hundreds of millions of times. The man who destroyed her life is in prison. The image still exists somewhere on the internet. That is the world we built. A world where a child can ask for help in front of a camera and be watched by hundreds of millions of people and still not be saved in time. We can do better than that. We have to.